Continuing now with our lead story, how to solve America's vexing immigration problem. Joining us from Los Angeles, Fox News analyst Leslie Marshall, and from Washington, Dana Perino, also an analyst for FNC. So Dana, we'll begin with you. Okay. You heard Governor Palin. What'd you think? Does she have a plan that would work?
Well, I didn't hear a lot of specifics, and because she is not the president, she doesn't have to provide a lot of specifics. But I think that interview was instructive for a couple of reasons, Bill. Having gone through the immigration debate with President Bush, when we dealt with all of those very difficult issues, especially one thing that was concerning to me is when she said how she would send as many troops as it would take on the border. Right. I think that's as unspecific as what President Obama has said. You know, he has said 1,200 troops, and of course we know there will only be about 400 at a time, and that's a drop in a bucket, and it's not enough to really make a dent. But the question of how many it would take, I mean, I don't think anybody really knows that, so she would need to get more specific there. And in addition to that, you hit the nail on the head with the problem of the 12 million people who are already here. And it might sound okay to say that you would just send them all back and deport them. But our country is not going to do that. Nope, we're not going to stand for it. And plus, many of these people have had children here. But with all due respect, you're not going to send them back.
With all due respect to your former boss, President Bush, he was wishy-washy on this too, Dana. He didn't have a real clear-cut vision on what to do with these folks.
Absolutely, we had, and that's actually one of the things that he gets criticized for, is that he had too specific a vision because he laid it out in the bill that Harry Reid decided to never go through with. But he did have a plan for how.
This was the McCain-Kennedy bill, right?
Right, that's the one that they put forward. But then if you were here illegal, you had to go to the back of the line and start again. And even that would have been hard.
What does that mean? Nobody knows what that means, the back of the line. Dana?
I personally never knew how that was actually going to work because
you just made my point. It was wishy-washy, back of the line.
He did have a plan, but no, it was not wishy-washy.
It's all
no, it wasn't. Bill, he said that they would have to go back to the line, which means that they would have to go back to their country and start again. I personally didn't think that specific was going to work.
Get back to their country. They're not going to go.
They're not.
Right.
And that is the sticking point for every politician from the left and the right. All right. That's where the rub comes down.
What did you think of the governor's plan, Leslie?
First of all, Dana, will you stop agreeing with me, or they're not going to have us on? We're supposed to disagree, okay? She wasn't specific enough, and funny enough, she actually agrees with President Obama. Yeah, he agrees, and you're right there, Bill. Left or right, we all agree we need to secure the border. How is the problem?
Wait,
not
Leslie,
only that, when we talk about
Leslie, hold it. Leslie, you give me a migraine, all right? President Obama doesn't want to secure the border. He doesn't want to secure the border.
Yes, he does.
He hasn't done jack. He hasn't done jack to support it. He's been in office for 18 months. He hasn't done anything. They stopped building the fence. He's going to send 400 guard down there. What are they going to do? Play cards? Okay, that's not going to do anything. Don't give me any he wants to secure the border, Leslie. That's why Arizona had to pass their law, because President Obama won't help the state. Come on, Leslie. Go ahead. Come on.
His comprehensive immigration reform plan goes beyond what the federal and the state of Arizona does, which it attacks the employers. Without the employers dangling the jobs, the immigrants wouldn't come here. Speaking to the nearly 12 million that are here.
Okay, I'll give Obama the employer thing, but he won't
raid. But he's reduced it by 74%.
Here's why. He won't raid, okay, but he is saying that he will fine companies that hire illegal aliens after this bill is done, big time. That's what he says. Will he do it? I don't know if he's going to do it. But look, Leslie, don't give me he wants to secure the border, because that's just not true. Now, Dana, I don't understand. Was President Bush worried about the Hispanic vote? Is that why he didn't send guard to the border until I had forced him to do it? You know, Dana, I forced the president to send a guard to the border. You know that. Okay?
Oh, yeah, we talked about that all the time.
It took me years to do it. But finally he did it. Was it the Hispanic vote that he was worried about?
I think that as having grown up in Texas and being governor of a border state himself, he had understood that one of the best ways to deal with this was to have a temporary worker program, excuse me, to help solve the problem. Because that way you could help deal with the economic issue, to get people here, because remember, he's the one who said family values don't stop at the Rio Grande. He had a view of this that was comprehensive. The people in the border states, though, deserve some credit for finding their voice and to forcing people to look at the fact that, as you said, Bill, in the Talking Points memo, 1,100 people in one county jail.
Right.
that are violent offenders, that is something that none of us in our other cities would accept.
But
and they
I would
shouldn't have
expect
to
that
either.
President Bush, when he was in office, would have anticipated that. Now, what do you say, Leslie, when you see 1,100 people, individuals, sitting in Maricopa County Jail, charged with violent felonies, rape, murder, aggravated assault? What do you say, Leslie? It must offend your liberal sensibilities.
First of all, do we know for a fact that we have 1,100
yes,
that are all illegal immigrants?
Yes, they're all illegal immigrants.
Secondly,
we nailed it right down. We did a factor investigation. That is in stone. 1,100 illegal aliens charged with violent felonies in one county, Maricopa. What do you say to that, Leslie?
Well, first of all, the president, the U.S. Constitution, all of law enforcement officials across the country have no disagreement on prosecuting criminals. The disagreement is violating the Constitution and the state trying to usurp federal government.
That American citizens and illegal aliens themselves are being brutalized. They're being brutalized. They're sitting there. What better illustration is there that action must be taken, drastic action to stop this?
What action does Arizona want to take, Bill? A, and B, how is the state of looking at their budget going to pay for that?
Budget? I don't care about that. Arizona is saying our police officers have a right, when somebody comes into our system, to ask people about their nationality, and they're getting sued by the Obama administration for doing it.
But the nationality of the person is the issue. Of course, the Constitution more so the issue, but that is an issue, Bill. You had mentioned in your talking points about somebody being, Polish, but it's not Poland that the country of concern is.
If it were,
it's Mexico.
The sentiment would be the same, which takes the racist angle out of it. Ladies, I got to run. Always good to see you. Thanks for the good debate. Right. Directly ahead, San Francisco.